asking Hashem, we should be successful in all of these things. So we learn many of these blessings, and we are still almost at the end of these blessings that are the foundation for the whole entire day. Now, today, we are having two tough ones, very tough ones. I hope that you will understand, and you won't, I'm looking for the right word to say. I wanted to say you won't attack me for one of these blessings, but it's not me. It's to understand what it means. And I hope I will be able to explain it in a way that everyone will see the beauty and the good things for us. So the first one of these two blessings is easier. We are thanking Hashem, and I hope that everyone is having a siddur. If you do have, and if not, the siddur.
English one or with the English?
Better with the English one. Yeah, of course the Hebrew, but with the English one. And I would like, but yeah.
Yes. Which one?
Yagedanov.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm not taking the names from the new people, only because I'm so. Yeah, so Batya, could you read the blessing? Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam shelo asani aved, and explain it. Last week they explained it, I think, very beautiful about shelo asani goy.
Okay. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam shelo asani aved. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who has not made me a slave.
Okay. This is obvious, right?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be a slave, but we're not talking about that. We're not talking about slave in the simple meaning that everyone right away, when you say slave, we feel the full negativity about that. We don't talk about it. Unfortunately, it was accepted in the whole entire world that people had slaves. I'm not talking about 2,000 years ago, I'm talking even 100 years ago, until 100 years ago, about the way that people looked at slaves. It was in a very negative way. It was like they are not human. You could do with them anything that you want. These things was never accepted in the Torah, even though that the whole entire world treated slaves in the most horrifying way. In the Torah, it was never allowed. And I'm talking about real slaves that it was accepted in the world. In the Torah, there are so many details about how respectful feeling you should have to your slave, how to treat them, how to make them feel they were slaves, but how to make them feel comfortable as much that it is possible. So what we are talking here about, I'm not talking about there is a special category of a Jew that was a slave, which is completely a different category. This is somebody that could not afford to support himself and to support his family. So he made some kind of a deal with somebody that he's selling himself for the purpose he should be able to live. This, the Torah said, is not even in the category of a slave. This, in a way, you have to know that if you're making this kind of a deal with this kind of a slave, you are putting yourself in problems because you have a responsibility for him and for his family. In a way, he's becoming your boss because you have so many responsibilities to him. This is completely a different category. It's only called slave, but this is not a slave. And also, this slave, you cannot make such a deal with such a person. It could be the maximum, normally, without going into details, could be for 6 years. After that, there's no way that you could do that. This person cannot make such a deal with you. But we are talking about slaves that are not in this category. Slaves that today it's not allowed to. Even in the world, unfortunately, I cannot say that there's no slaves in the world. Maybe it's illegal, maybe some nations are making it legal. Doesn't matter. Not really, but there are people that are doing it. So if somebody that is a slave, let's say 2,000 years ago, in the time of the Gemara, he is in a category that the owner is having obligation to him, but he's also a slave. Now, the Torah said that anyone that is becoming a slave by the Jewish people is immediately, there are some things that this slave is obligated to do certain kind of mitzvot. Now, what's so good about it? Because a mitzvah is something that Hashem is giving a special attention and special connection for this person to Hashem. He cannot have the connection that everyone is having because he's not a free man. He has to serve, he's a slave. But there are certain mitzvot that the Hashem said that this person is obligated to do, which is a special, we could call it a present from Hashem to this person, because if somebody is not Jewish, and this we need to explain in more length, this person cannot do mitzvot. There are mitzvot for every human being. There are 7 mitzvot that every human being is obligated by Hashem to do. The purpose of this mitzvot is when a person is doing a mitzvah, and here I'm referring even to a person that is completely not Jewish, and the person is doing a mitzvah, this person is becoming connected to Hashem, which means this person is getting more protection, more blessings. The word mitzvah in Hebrew means connection. So to have a mitzvah is something that Hashem is giving us in order we should be closer to Him. So every human being is having a mitzvah. General, not Jewish human being are having 7 mitzvot, which really it's more than 7 because these 7 are general. There are more details, but basically it's 7, which in the foundation of these 7 mitzvot, it is that we have to do all the basis for civilization, like not to kill, not to steal, to believe that there is a God, because if somebody, God forbid, doesn't believe in these things, then there is no limit. The human nature is what I want is first priority. But if you know that there is a God, And you cannot do everything that you want. If it's a destruction, you cannot do that. So to believe that there is a God is one of the 7 mitzvot. And God means that He is protecting you, He saves you, He is giving you all your needs. And this is a very important foundation, like I said before. That's why, unfortunately, today, even in a country like the United States, which is an amazing country, without going in details, without going in politics, the base of the United States is kingdom. The Rabbi called it a kingdom of kindness, because the base is freedom. You should have the opportunity to have everything that you want. But unfortunately, one of the big things is separation between Hashem and life, which is a very bad thing, because what is the reason for this separation? Could somebody tell me here? How come that in the United States, which is an amazing country, but the people that made the beginning of the United States and they made the foundations, how come that he spoke about separation? Could somebody tell me the idea?
Separation of church and state.
Yeah, I don't want to use this word. Church,
Right.
of religion, Hashem and state. What was the reason for that?
Like, so as to not let the government be run by like religious powers.
Why?
Well,
Let me tell you why.
oh,
Because, yeah, tell me.
okay. So originally it was like freedom to practice their own religion, because there were like a bunch of, in Europe, there was a million different sects of like Yashkiandi going on. And so they came to practice that. And then sort of and that was like in the 1600s, so like 100 years later, they're like, okay, we shouldn't maybe run a government that way,
Right,
because that was the root of all their problems.
right. Because who are the people in the United States? In the beginning, from where did they come? They came from Europe. Europe was a horrible place for destroying people. If somebody, the Inquisition, for example, they destroyed people that did not believe in their faith in the most devastating way. They took away freedom. So this is only one example. There are so many examples. So when they came to the United States, they said, you could have any religion that you want, but you believe. The government has no right to take it away from you. But the idea was not to tell you that the government is not supporting anything of your religion. The responsibility of the government is to supporting everyone. If somebody believes, for example, in Jewish education, I'm talking about Jewish education because this is what we are, the government's responsibility is to support this person. Unfortunately, the old people, doesn't matter, we are not going into history, and unfortunately, many of them were Jewish people, that they did not have enough faith in Hashem, and I'm not blaming them, maybe they didn't get the right education, maybe they never knew. These people, these people made that the government is not going to support anything that has to do with faith. Well, that was the opposite of the purpose. The whole purpose was that faith should not dictate you. You should not force all the people to believe in what you are believing. So, and unfortunately, look what's going on today. The government is an amazing government. Take out money. Money is a very important thing. Every bill in the United States, if it's $100 or $20 or $1 or a quarter, What is it saying in it? In God we trust. Because you know that this is the foundation for everything. That's why the Rebbe was fighting so much that even in public schools, it should be at the beginning of the day a moment of silence. He did not say a moment of prayer, because prayer, there are so many different people, they believe in different things. So that would create all kind of friction and tension. What he said about a moment of silence at the beginning of the day. What's the point? A moment of silence. In this moment, everyone should think there is a God, there is an authority, and I have to know my responsibility. Can't do anything that we want. Look what's going on today. Unfortunately, people that don't have any faith, there's no limit, and which is very, very sad, because it's not good for these people also. These people, when they have no limit, they're ruining their life. Maybe in the beginning they enjoy what they do, but their life is being messed up. So coming back to the point after that if somebody is becoming a slave by Jewish people, Hashem said, since you are under the control, slave of Jewish people, I am giving you even one step higher. Until that moment, you was obligated to do 7 mitzvot that are the basis for every human being. But now, since you are under the environment of a Jewish person, then I'm giving you the zchut, the merit, that you are having more mitzvot. I'm not going now into details what are the mitzvot, but this is a higher type of a category. If somebody does not want it, then he cannot be a slave by Jewish people, which means he cannot in the time that they had it. Now, what is the blessing here? We are thanking Hashem every morning, Shelo Asani Aved, that you did not make me to be a slave. What kind of a blessing is this? Because everyone understands that the goal is to be a free person. What's so good about being free? Free means that you could plan out your life in the way that you will gain the most, outmost, everything that you want in a positive way. Because I said before that when you have obstacles, when you are obligated to something that you don't have the time for that, you're limited. So they are thanking Hashem right away in the morning of the day that you did not bring me in such a situation that even if I want, I can't, because I'm a slave and I have obligations that are not allowing me to reach what I want to reach. So the purpose of the blessing is not only to thank Hashem, but only to make us to realize how free we are and how Hashem is giving us the opportunity. If we are planning it out in the right way, Hashem is giving us the opportunity to reach really the highest level that we should feel happy with the life that we have. So the blessing is for the opportunity that Hashem is giving us. The blessing is also not when Hashem is giving us an opportunity. It does not mean only He's giving us opportunity. It means that He's giving us the strength we should be able to do it. Because a lot of times people are having opportunities, but they have challenges. They have challenges in their life. So we're thanking Hashem that even though that we have challenges, He's also giving us the strength that we should be able to reach it in the right way. There is also one more meaning in this blessing, sometimes, not sometimes, a lot of times, people that are free people, nobody they're not slaves, but even when a person is free, many times people feel like they are slaves. They have issues in their life that they cannot overcome, difficulties, all kind of obstacles. So we are blessing Hashem, thanking Him that you gave us this strength not to be a slave. Here we're not talking about a physical slave, but here we're talking about people that are slaves to their obstacles in life. So that makes a very big difference, because sometimes, many more than sometimes, people feel that there is a limit. They cannot, it's no way that they could reach what they want. So it's very important that we don't thought in the morning right away that even if it sometimes looks it's impossible we should reach us, we should know that Hashem is with us and He is giving us the opportunity not to be a slave to our own emotions and difficulties. It's not easy. Sometimes we have to find the right people to help us with that. Sometimes we have to study more things in the Torah to navigate in all the difficulties, but it's there and we could do it. And that's why we are blessing. The purpose of the blessing is, like I told you before, also we are asking Hashem that we should be able to overcome, we should be able to feel free people. Okay? Yeah. If somebody is having questions, you're invited. Now, that was the easy blessing. The very hard blessing is the next time, the next blessing. You ready for that?
Yeah.
I'm asking myself if I'm ready for that. This is a tough one, very tough one, but if you understand it in the right way, you are so happy with that. Who is you? Not only me. Man, but also the women. Because this blessing is saying, thank you, Hashem, that you did not make me a woman. I see already the faces of some people here. Very hard. Very hard. What kind of a blessing is this? What kind of a blessing is this? But the first thing, when you are paying attention, because everything in the prayers and in the blessings is very exact. The blessing does not say, thank you, Hashem, that you made me a man. Excuse me, man. You're not better than the women. You don't thank Hashem to make me a man. I said, we're thanking Hashem that you did not make me a woman. What kind of a blessing is this? But the first thing is pay attention to that. We don't say that you made me a man because a man is not having a priority over women. There is a meaning here. And the meaning is also for women, very important. Okay, so the first thing which is very important is to know that if you're looking at a way that Hashem looks at a woman, we could see that the woman are having a higher value in the eyes of Hashem than man. Just by looking with no first thoughts and all kind of feminism and all kind of nonsense, because we see that since the beginning of the world, women were the people, that they were the foundation for everything. We could see prophets, important prophets, they were women. The first one that we know, probably more details, there were even more than that before, Sarah Imenu. She was a prophet. Not only that she was a prophet, what Hashem told Abraham, she's a bigger prophet than you are. And Abraham, we know what kind of a great person he was. And when Sarah told him, and there were some things that he was very upset about that, and he didn't know what to do, Hashem told him, you listen to everything that she said. And Rashi is explaining that Abraham, compared to Sarah, it was not equal. Sarah was greater, much greater than him in prophecy. Miriam Neviah, she saved. And if you learn all the details what happened there, she saved the whole future of the Jewish nation. And you have to understand that a prophet does not mean somebody that is seeing the future. This is showing the value of the person, what kind of people they were, what kind of challenges they had. And they overcame. The same thing with Sarah. I didn't go into the details because if you go into the details, there's so much to talk about. Sarah had many challenges. And in so many different situations in life. Dvorah Neviah, you probably heard these names. She was the judge. We're not talking about the judge in a court. She was the judge of the whole entire nation. And she did it with humbleness and in the right way, the way that Hashem wants. Hashem did not say that women should be hiding in their house and not to speak and not to lead. Hashem did not say it. Hashem wants women should go out in the world, should have a major influence in the world. And we could see today what's going on with the spreading Hashem's word all over the world. Women are a very powerful influence. And somebody asked even the Rabbi, how is it? The Rabbi was encouraging that. How is he explaining it? We know that women are having their. So the Rabbi said, it's not a contradiction. We have to know that men are having their way of thinking, their way of leading, and women are having their way of thinking, their way of leading. Of course, everything has to be in the frames that Hashem wants it should be. But this is not a contradiction to go out and to be leaders and to have a major influence. Like I just mentioned now, Dvorah Neviah. The greatest people came to her to ask her what to do, but at the same time, she did it in the right way. She was a very strong person, strong leader. She was leading the war against the strongest enemy that was so powerful and made so much troubles. It was strong not against the Jews only, but against so many people in the world. She was leading this war, but at the same time, she did everything in the proper way. Proper way does not mean that you have to hide and be quiet. It said that when she met people, I'm just not going to explain it now because this needs a long explanation. But when she met people, she was careful. She was sitting tachat Tomer Dvorah. What is Tomer Dvorah? Under a tree of dates. Because she didn't want to meet people when they were in a private room. And today, I can give you a million explanations to that. But today, I was working in Yeshiva University for many years. There are 3 generations. Grandmothers today, I don't want to tell you their age, because then you will think that I'm 500 years old. But I just met some of them that were close to 70 years. My students have remembered me with such a good taste. And their daughters, their granddaughters.
Wow.
And it was very, very powerful because we learned the beauty of Judaism, that everything is so nice. And some people are interpreting things in the mitzvot in the wrong way. If we are interpreting that in the right way, everything is so beautiful. So Dvorah, she was leading. She was tough and she had to be, but she knew that. So I started to say that today in Yeshiva University, unfortunately, it's not only even by non-Jewish people, I think, because of all kinds of things happen. Somebody sued Yeshiva University, something that happened 4 years ago. So they became so tough to the staff, the 5,000 people staff, Jewish and non-Jewish, with such strong rules that a teacher cannot sit with a girl in one room, even things that are more strict than the Torah is saying. Well, but the idea is that if we understand what the Torah is saying, we see that it's good for us. It's not coming to mess up people's feelings. So Dvorah was sitting under a tree. For that purpose, she should not be in a closed room. At the same time, she had the biggest respect for everyone, from the leaders of the Jewish people. The Rabbi met people, you know, the Rabbi met people, and you know, all kinds of people came. And the Rabbi, every time before he met people, for a whole night. And people, the Rebbe opened, before he started, he opened one of the shades in his room, 770, for that purpose, because the Torah said there is such a thing that is called Yichud. The Rebbe needs it, is in such a high levels, but you're not playing games. Hashem said, so we are not taking it in a human low way. Hashem said it's being done. So talking about women, there is a whole long list. Hannah, the mother of Shmuel HaNavi, and Avigail, the wife of David HaMelech. She was an unbelievable person, so wise. She was, and these people, if you would say that they are regular, average people, Abigail was a very beautiful woman, but she behaved in the way that Hashem wanted. It's not a contradiction. As more you're behaving in Hashem's way, it's not a contradiction that you're physically beautiful. You know, Sarah Imeinu, the Gemara said that if you want to compare the entire world to the beauty of Sarah Imeinu, it's like you are comparing a monkey to a human being. Mm-hmm. So it's not a contradiction. When you do what Hashem said, and you understand it in the right way, every physical thing is becoming more successful and more beautiful. So there's a whole long list, Huldah, Neviah, and Esther. So women are very important, and we saw it by the Rabbi. The Rabbi, that he spoke to men, right? But there were a few times a year that women were sitting in the men's shul, and we men, we were in the women's shul, babysitting the children at the same time. And the attitude that the Rabbi had when he spoke to women, because he understood the value that Hashem gave them, was in an amazing way. There's so many stories, so many things to do. So it's no question that women are very important. When Hashem gave the Torah to the Jewish people, that was a very powerful moment. That was the moment that was like the establishing the Jewish nation. Hashem gave the Torah, Hashem came down, all the details. Hopefully you learned about it with all the details. So what was the first thing that Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu? I want to, as preparation for Matan Torah. Hashem said, I want you to go speak to the women and then speak to men. Why? Because women are having a natural, what does it mean natural? Hashem made it in the nature. Power that the way that they establishing things, that's how it goes. And by Matan Torah, Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu, first speak to the women. Because if you don't do that, you speak to the men, if the women are not going to be involved there, they won't be able to do it in the appropriate way. And the whole entire attitude that Hashem is having to women, the women are the foundation. How you call a woman, and the Rebbe always said that this is even girls before they are married. That's why the Rebbe spoke that it's so important that by lighting the candles before Shabbat, we know that a woman, a married woman, is lighting candles. At least two, some are having a custom, two for our husbands, a whole shamor, some are having the custom for the child in the family. But the Rebbe said that even not married women should also light one candle until you're married. Why? Because the women are having a power, a spiritual power. And spiritual does not mean only not grounded. Spiritual means that they have a power that has no limitation. Women are having the power by lighting the candle. That's why the Rebbe expressed himself that he is begging. That was not a regular expression by the Rebbe, that every woman should light a candle, because this light, it's not only you lighting a physical small light, it lights up the whole entire world. And now that we are so close for Mashiach's coming, this light makes a major difference. Yeah.
I just still don't understand what is the purpose of them saying Shulos HaNidusha?
I know, this is all a long introduction. I have to give this long introduction in order you should be able, you should be ready to listen to me when we're coming to this point. Of course, of course, this will soften the whole entire thing. But the idea is not to show superiority. That men, it's okay, everyone, you're not the only one that is having this question. A lot of men are having this question because they don't get the idea in the right way. Just 1 second, Hanukkah. This blessing has nothing to do with superiority of men. Nothing, because superiority, women are having more. It has to do with a different thing. Yes, Hannah.
So my father said that the reason why is because men are really lucky they say this because they have more mitzvahs to do. So it's not against women. It's for them that they're happy that they're not women because they can do more mitzvahs than we are doing.
Okay, since you said this point, I will make it a little shorter and answer your question, okay, even though there are more to talk about it. Because women are so superior, Hashem gave them the biggest responsibility. The immediate responsibility to take care of their own families. To take care of your own family is the most hardest job, that is including wisdom, patience, understanding, to know how to navigate. Sometimes you have men that are controlling a whole huge office. They know how to deal with all of these things. To be somebody that is navigating and managing the family, not only that they should be quiet, but really to educate them, and really they should grow in the right way. And later they should be the people that are leaders in the world. And I'm talking about girls also, of course. This is the hardest thing. A man cannot do it. Some people want to say today, okay, the man will be the one that puts the diapers and takes care on the house. And the woman should be the one that is outside. That's a very big mistake. It does not mean that a woman should not work, not at all. The Rebbe said it. If you feel that you could do both, 100%. It's not even a question. My wife is a principal of a very big school, a very hard school, and she had 13 children. And Baruch Hashem, everyone is going beautiful, which is not a contradiction. But you have to know your priorities. Now, because Hashem gave such a load to women, Hashem said that there are some mitzvot that they don't have to do, some mitzvot, because there are 365 mitzvot, Lot said they are obligated exactly like men. But the mitzvot say there are some mitzvot, because Hashem said, I don't want them to have this load, because then they won't be able to do the load that is so important to me in their own house. But men, since they don't have this load, why don't they have this load? Because they are not capable. Hashem did not give it to all the qualifications to do it. So Hashem said, okay, you don't have it, so you will have to do the other mitzvot. It's not a punishment. It's Hashem knows how important the mitzvot are for everyone, because a mitzvah is really a present from Hashem. It's connecting us, and there is so much to talk about it. But Hashem said, for me, it's more important for a woman, she should not do this mitzvah, because I want her to do that. And the Gemara said that the reward that Hashem is giving a woman for what the men are doing is greater, because they are making it possible for the men, for the children. They should do the things which are the right things, to study Torah and all the right things. So men, since they don't have this load, because they are not capable, Hashem said, so you need the other mitzvot. You need it because it's important for you. So the reason for this blessing is just not to show superiority, just since a person is doing the mitzvah in life, so doing the mitzvah could bring you to a higher emotional feeling, experiences, to feel more connected, to feel more connected to Hashem, even though that women are not less connected. So we're thanking Hashem for giving us the opportunity that we could do this mitzvot, and it's also a reminder that we have to do it. Okay? Yeah. That has nothing to do with superiority. And as I said before, we don't tell Hashem, thank you for making me a man. Okay? Hopefully that we explain it.
Really well. Yeah. The introduction helped. Right. Well.
There are some people that with this blessing, women are saying, thank you Hashem, that you made me in a way that you want it.
It's what it is well.
But
So either or
is
Is there a reason not?
So,
or Rivka, nobody
Right.
can give those.
I understand that, because if I said
You
that,
think about it.
Very long, what can I do? But it's not very long. If you're a woman, you're not losing it.
So how much does I have? Yeah, I have
It's
that.
opposite. You're not, you're not.
I can write my hand and short. Okay.
Alright.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you.
A lot of, yes, today, right?
Yeah.
Doing some just now.